IVM.
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to the Diary of the Traveling Professor. And I'm Siddharth Deshmukh, your friendly neighborhood traveling professor himself, for yet another podcast entry. Well, what's this one all about, right? You may ask. Quite justifiably so. And it is about the art of timing. It's been a long time that I've been thinking about this subject, the subject of timing. And, things have come to a fever pitch because I read a really interesting article, or rather saw a joke. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was a WhatsApp forward. Maybe the timing, it wasn't right. But here's the joke anyway. The joke was, I think India's lockdown was planned on sighting a tiger about 500 meters away. I'm sure I'm ruining this joke, by the way. 500 meters away, and we started having shots at it. So we had 6 bullets. We shot 6 bullets at it. They went harmlessly in the distance without harming the tiger. The tiger kept advancing, and the tiger is now very close by. It's about to eat you, and you're out of bullets. Actually, it's funny. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if our lockdown was timed well, wasn't timed well. It's a matter of conjecture. And this is certainly not a political podcast, so I don't want to get into the government did this and the government did that and let some other person do it. Not for me. I'm interested in the science behind the timing. And to be honest, I think all of us crave this science or this art of timing, or maybe it's both, isn't it? Some people are just born with it. Some people struggle with it. Most of our decisions that we make about our timing are deep, but only in our head. Time exists in our head, and we don't really understand how time exists in the external future. That's why we are so, it's so bloody difficult for us to look at a trend and make the most of it. Here's the golden hour question. When are you in a situation wherein you're just ahead, as I'd like to say always, I always like to say this, you should be just ahead of everybody else in order to spot a trend, but you shouldn't be 10 years ahead. Because if you're 10 years ahead, you're jacked. You'll keep yelling, people will think you're a fool, or people will say you're ahead of your time, you're a bloody genius, you're Van Gogh, but no moolah. And if you're just reactive on the other end of the spectrum. If you're reactive, well, again, people will say, ooh, you're always so intuitive. You read things right, and you're so right about this situation that has just passed. And there you go. No whiskey, only soda. Sorry, it must be my sobriety talking. But coming back to timing, there's this golden hour. The rule, right? The golden hour is the rule wherein you're actually eating food just after you exercise. Even my computer agrees. You heard that, didn't you? You're just eating food after your exercise, so you're burning stuff up. I'm sure I'm offending a lot of physical trainers as I say it. But anyways, it's the metaphor that counts. We all are trying to find this golden hour wherein we take advantage of the art of timing, the golden hour in which time is going to flow on our side. So how do you do this? I think the core aspect of it is that you have to discover a trend. Now, discovering a trend that is not a fad, let me explain what a fad is. Let me do some professor explaining. Well, you don't need it. You know what a fad is. It's a pet rock. A pet rock doesn't last for beyond a few months, does it? A trend, on the other hand, is like the women's liberation movement. It has just grown from strength to strength, and it has connected to various movements, like sub-movements like the Me Too movement and the rest of it. So it's on the ascendancy. Now, the fact is that if you look at a trend, and if you're able to uncover or discover a trend before anybody else does, the only way in which you can do it is if you stop listening to that stupid voice in your head and pay attention to the world around you. But most of us don't do that. We always look at what is without really understanding what we are not seeing in the what is outside. Okay, this sentence is so profound that I'm going to say it again. We always see the what is outside without actually seeing the what isn't in the what is. There are things that are always abstract. There are things that we always have to guess. Yes, those include things like, Zoom calls increasing. Everybody and their aunt would have guessed that. But would we have guessed that we would have liked the physical world much more just because things are going digital? That requires a little bit of thinking, a little bit of imagination. What we ideally should be doing is we should be trying to connect the trend to what we want to see the trend as. Now, this is a very delicate thing, and let me explain what I mean. So I'm not asking you to be deluded, right? I'm not asking you to look at reality, the what is reality, and say, I'm actually seeing blue unicorns in the distance and that is the trend. No. But if you're able to actually look at what you want to see out of the world, and you're able to spot a small corner of an opportunity. Opportunities are like butterflies. You don't even know. You rapidly approach them, they fly away, right? So you see opportunities, you see trends, whether they're digital, whether they're analytical, whether they're, all of it. And you're able to just identify and tease out this trend. There goes my ding again of the computer, agreeing again. If you look at the entire way in which we can spot opportunities that mean something to our desires, but they actually exist as realities, and we explore and experiment, then it makes the biggest possible difference to our fortunes. And then we have timed things well. People say, wow, what timing. Actually, what you're doing is you're connecting to your own desires and you're seeing the opportunities that are outside of you. I must admit, you have to explore and experiment what I'm talking about a little bit more. And there are some of us who are much better at the art or the science of timing than the rest of us. But aggressive listening always helps, guys. Just think about it. If you're always in your head, how the heck are you going to see any trend that's outside of you? First thing to do, get out of your head. Get out of your head. Maybe I'll take that advice myself. A professor almost always lives in his head, doesn't he? Well, at least this one doesn't, or it tries to. There you go then. I hope you liked this diary entry of mine. Many more to come from where that came from. If you like following the funnier side of the traveling professor, check me out on Instagram. If you like to have the serious side of the professor, check me out on LinkedIn. And if you like podcasts like these, well, just download the IVM Podcast app or go to ivmpodcast.com. What are you waiting for? Until next time then.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. We appreciate their support. It's been a really fun week, guys. We've had some great episodes on your old favorites. Cyrus Says, Advertising is Dead, Edges and Sledges. Football Shootball had a really fun episode as well. Definitely do check it out. I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourselves. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट लगते हैं. नाम है फुटबॉल शूटबॉल.
Presenting Football Shortball, a show about three friends discussing our favorite game over a beer. Sometimes three, maybe even five. Hi, I'm Shiva, and with me are my two sidekicks, Gaurav Sapre and Karthik Iyer.
Sidekick? You mean like Batman's Robin or Van Persie Robin?
No, I mean like Alexis Sanchez, but with a little more skill than just playing the piano.
Just shows how the best players at Arsenal are mere bench warmers at United.
Oh, thank you, Iyer. But you're a Fulham supporter, so whenever you say anything to support me, I question my beliefs.
Just like how Griezmann would say, एक बार मैंने जो decision ले लिया, तो मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
Banter aside, we will talk match reports, transfer rumors, top controversies, fantasy football picks, and so much more. So grab a beer and tune in to Football Shortball every Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.